This video is titled "They Tried to Cancel Her." It's from 3 days ago, but people have been like begging me to watch this, and I have not seen it yet. And this is probably going to be a good catch up on the whole situation.
Soyboy constantly stalks Kirsche, trying everything that they can to cancel them. What is this here? What did she even say?
The fact that you can raise money for calling a 5-year-old the N-word is insane. Hope they shut down her campaign. They shouldn't. They didn't shut down Carmelo Anthony's campaign.
I mean, how is that supposed to be a controversial?
To be progressive then for a minute. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Fair level playing field.
Is this supposed to be a controversial statement? Like,
yep. To the opposition, it is. It really is, because remember what I said before about, the previous, I think it was the first topic about, the whole pronouns thing, I won, that sort of thing. The opposition, the left, whatever you want to call them, I call them the opposition. They are built on an empire of lies, very similar to that of the old Soviet Union, which in our civilization in the West is built on the two-tier justice system. I can do it because I am the opposition. I have institutional power. You can't do it, though, because you're not in the club, for lack of a better term. That's how the entire thing is built in politics, in pop culture, in everything. That's why the woke mind virus still exists to this day, because it's built on an empire of lies, and it's built on a two-tier justice system. And if you criticize it or condemn it, in Europe, you're going away, into the slammer. In the US, you've got a fighting chance. But that's why I'm like, you can't reform these people, because the structure that enables them to exist would continue even if we agreed to disagree and reform the institutions. You can't reform the ring of power, and they have got it, man. Mm-hmm. It needs to be destroyed. So Kirsche's argument here of, both campaigns should stay up is controversial to the opposition, because they're allowed to have one, you're not, Smash. They're allowed to burn down cities, you're not, Smash. They're allowed to kill people like you, Smash. Sorry for the going into the dark route, but you're not allowed to kill people like them. That's how their empire is sustained.
That is crazy. Do you feel like this is building to something greater than what it is right now, or do you feel like this is just kind of?
Well, I see a lot of similarities with the Cold War, because fundamentally our opposition has never changed. It's just, it's collapsed and reformed, but it is an empire of lies. It looks strong on the surface, but it's a house of cards underneath. That's why they show teeth. That's why they dogpile and go for the kill, because if we were like that, they wouldn't exist. They wouldn't.
No,
which is why part of me is.
This is what I'm asking. Is it building towards like demonic spirals, like a civil war? Do you feel like this could be turning into something not tomorrow, not 6 months from now, but maybe like a decade down the road, if it keeps going down this way, splitting the country?
I don't think it will turn violent in the same way that the Cold War never really went hot. I think you'll see a lot of proxy conflicts all over the place, but not a full-on battle, because whoever makes the first move will end up losing. So it's like a war of attrition. I think we will prevail in a very similar way to how the West prevailed against the East, where the East just collapsed in on itself through a lot of pressure inside and outside. And it's exactly the same with the opposition. The problem is they're in our country. So if they collapse in on themselves and they have the institutions, that means sorry about my camera, folks. It likes to move. That means the institutions might collapse, and that will cause a heck of a lot of problems. So I do think we can win, especially in, with the mindset of 2025 where we are at. But it's going to be one hell of a challenge, because it's like, think of it this way, Smash. You live in a wooden house.
Mhm.
And there are termites, man. There are lots of termites. And if you're going to beat them, a part of your house is going to have to be burnt down. We're in that territory, for
Yikes.
better or for worse.
Almost like what movie was that when they were like archers and they're like, "Sir, aren't you gonna kill your own?" It's like I said, archers. What movie was that? Sort of the
Braveheart.
was that
Where the king
Braveheart?
was,
I
yeah,
thought it was
Braveheart.
Braveheart. I was thinking
The
Braveheart when
king
I
was
said it.
like, I don't care, just
Yep.
arrows are cheaper, that sort of thing.
Yep.
So getting
She's right. If you want, like, if they can do, yeah, she's totally right.
mad at this just outs you as like a very hypocritical person.
Well, it's not even hypocritical because hypocritical implies it's a double standard. There's not even a double standard. You have one guy that's stabbing someone and killing them in a chest with the knife, and you have another girl that's saying a word. So they're not even equivalent to begin with.
That's a great
They-
point.
That is a great point. To us, to the opposition, words are violence. Because our words can destroy their empire of lies, which is the ideological equivalent to killing them.
Damn, bro. That is
And that's why they're so violent, man. Because if you kill their ideology, you might as well kill them because there's nothing left.
dude, that
That's
is like
why they're like. That's why they're so violent, and that's why they do what they do. Because a physical act of violence to them, and ideological violence, which is condemning their ideas, undermining them, destroying them, to them is the equivalent of killing them. The personal is the political.
you just blew my mind, bro.
And it's not just in politics, it's also in pop culture. That's why Mercante, for example, is so rabid. Because if she loses, it's not death as in physical, it's ideological death, which causes the spiral and the craziness. Because if your mindset is broken, a broken mind is far worse than a broken body. So that's why they go after you, Smash. Because you just go right at them in terms of ideas, undermining their ideas, and to them, that's just as bad as going after them physically.
Which is wild because that doesn't even enter my mind when I'm having conversations. And what you're saying is like, I'm just like this clueless dude that's giving my opinion on a situation. To them, this is like their entire house of cards getting crumbled because I'm just talking about it.
You literally, Smash, you're like an embodiment of America where you don't know how you do it, you just do it. And I have this British mindset of explaining how you do it. You don't care because you just be yourself. But explaining it shows to everyone just how the opposition operates. And that's why when wokeness really became a thing, we didn't know how to stop it originally because we didn't know how it worked. And that's why you need to explain these things. I know I'm being convoluted. I apologize.
No,
Because
you're
if you
not.
don't-
You're actually being very clear right now. I understand
Because-
fully.
Yeah. Know your enemy, for lack of a better term. Know yourself. Find victory in every battle. Simple as that. The art of war's up there for a reason. But to them, it's an ideological battle. And that's why they equate, to get back to the point, literally killing someone with saying the N-word. Because to them, the N-word is the nuclear weapon. And that's why if you use it in the public discourse, what do? What does the opposition do? They swarm you like an army because you
And
have
try to
used a
cancel
nuclear
you, try
weapon.
to end you,
Yeah.
try to take away your funding sources, try to ruin your life, try to contact your loved ones, try to contact where you work, try to contact everything and get at you any way they can for daring to say, hey, I disagree with what that person's doing, and here's why.
Yeah, and to the opposition, whether you like it or not, folks, condemning their ideology, condemning their way of thinking, attacking their ideas, to them is the equivalent of them attacking you physically. They cannot separate the ideology, the mind from the body, and that goes into philosophy and that sort of thing. But to them, it's the same. You threaten their ideas, you might as well just get a knife out and try to do them in. because to them it's the same, even if it's subconscious.
So, and this is the problem with this whole conversation. No, Kirsche's completely fucking right. Yes, there is no justification for taking down her Give Sin to Go, but not Carmelo Anthony's. Carmelo Anthony's is 1,000 fucking times worse. It's not even comparable. It's infinitely worse. And so, yes, I don't even understand. And so this is her defending it? This isn't her defending it. This is common fucking sense. How does anybody not think this? The VTuber acknowledged most people don't support using racial slurs, but went on to compare Shadow Hendrix contracts about George Floyd. Bostonian guy, think it's okay to say a 5-word. No, I don't think most people think that's okay. Yes. She's right.
No racism, no hate. No racism, no hate. Unless it's against white people, I guess.
And that's the empire of lies with the two-tiered justice system.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you see the narrative control, building the narrative, because the narrative is the shield for the ideology. And when that breaks, you have the damage control, which is to protect the ideology, because if it gets damaged, your mental state collapses. And that's why you see these strategies. That's why these people, when they get the updates, they all get the update at the same time.
It's almost like a way to explain someone who constantly lives with projection and a constant state of contradiction and never self-aware of their own contradiction, and why they get mad at people when they point it out, because they don't have a response to it.
Yep.
It's curious.
That's why they go on the attack, because they don't have retorts, because like all ideologies have their flaws, folks. They all have their pluses, their minuses. Strength of the individual is you have the freedom to do as you wish and you can succeed for yourself. The strength of the collective, especially in war, is to hang together and prevail no matter the cost. And that's the advantage of both. You pick one, folks. It's up to you. It's actually nice to see Asmongold smash, because, you know, the one encounter I had with him was during Speargate, and he was having a good talk with Mr. Obvious on X about, you know, the term spear chucker. Is it offensive? Mr. Obvious was like, no, it's not offensive. And not Smash. And Asmongold, the cockroach king, made the argument was, on the surface, it's not offensive. But I know it's a niche term. This is advanced racism. So I put 2 and 2 together and said, Asmongold called me an advanced racist. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Takes it as a compliment.
Thank you. At least my house isn't collapsing, and all of my stuff that's rubbish is non-perishable. So to each their own in that regard.
Trailer trash racist. You can donate to me instead. What?
What?
Okay. All right. And so now the picture is complete. Now we understand what's really going on. All right. How are some people real? I don't know. Yeah, she just wanted that bag. That's what it is.
Little weasel. What a little weasel freak.
I don't remember you commenting on the Carmelo Anthony fundraiser. That's what I said too. I said this myself.
Followers.
Why aren't they writing? Here's the reason why they're not writing articles about me like they are about Kirsche. Do you want to know the real reason why?
It's let me guess. It's the same reason Alyssa is not involving Asmongold in the lawsuit at all. Let's see.
It's because they know it won't matter. Like, they know that if they write an article about me being a racist, all that's going to get me is another 1 million view video on YouTube. And it's going to be called, I'm being canceled for being right. And, you know, or something like this, right? And
I mean, that's basically it. I would also add to that is I think they're afraid of Asmongold. They're afraid that if they call him out, that he could actually get the publication canceled because he's too big for them. So they steer clear of him now.
They don't target those, the opposition don't target those who are not relevant, and they don't target those who are too relevant.
Yeah, exactly. Right in between.
And it's insane. I'm being canceled for fighting against racism. And we already know. So this is the reason why they do it. They attack people like her because she's smaller. She can't defend herself in the same way that I can. And they're hoping to effectively bully gamer subs into.
But this is such a ridiculous thing to even take a stance on in an article. It's so innocuous. Why would you cancel someone over what she said? That's crazy to me.
If you're a content creator, you should always focus on yourself. Never rely on sponsors because they will drop you the moment that things get rough. And so I'll listen to a little bit more about this, right? And then we'll move on. But I'll see if there's a timestamp 257. Okay.
Okay to call a 5-year-old the N-word. I don't think most people think it's okay.
Oh, okay. So that, yeah, everybody knows that.
I think there
I'm
are.
waiting to hear something controversial here.
Well, you did call me an advanced racist once, Asmongold. And I'd say in a society that values freedom of speech, you can say anything to anyone, regardless of their age. It's a shitty thing to do. But so was calling a black man's game company Spear Chucker Studios. I still did, and I still stand by it.
You know, the funny thing is people tried to cancel me because I appeared on that show with you. And I'm like, I didn't say that. They're like, do you stand by what he said? I'm like, I stand by his right to say it, but at the same time, it's not necessarily something I would say. Like, why are you asking me these questions? Go to him if you have an issue with what he said. What do I have to do with this? It's very strange. It's very strange.
I won't bend the knee to these people. Don't bend the knee to these people.
I'm not even kidding you. The guy was fucking insane. How do you have 20 assaults? It's nuts.
Wow.
The whole George Floyd incident and the Summer of Love,
Yeah,
like the Carmelo Anthony. There's just a lot of people tired of the two-tier justice system, and
There you go. That's what
they
you're
start
saying.
saying some crazy things and doing.
that's exactly right. She is totally, absolutely, completely, unequivocally right. This is absolutely what people believe. And I understand that there are retards on Twitter that don't want to believe it, that don't want it to be real. They think it shouldn't be real. They don't think you should be able to say it. But the fact is, this is the way that people think. They think it is disgusting and absolutely ridiculous that a person is able to raise $500,000 after they kill somebody in cold blood in the middle of everybody else with a knife through the heart. This is some fucking Aztec Mayan sacrifice ritual shit. The guy raises $500,000, and then these people are getting bent out of shape about.
And no one bats an eye, by the way, when he does it. They're like, oh, all right.
The parallels with the Aztec Mayan thing is fantastic because even in their culture, it was also institutional. And in our culture, in this twisted Western culture that we now have, it's institutional now. And to Wangus's point in regards to why am I so dramatic with the explanations. First of all, I've been streaming for 11 hours. So I've been up for about 18 to 24 hours, and it's now 8 o'clock in the morning. So yes, I might be getting streamer psychosis. Might, but I'm holding it together. I won't go nuts. And people need to know, but explaining it is not easy without driving you guys nuts. Because there's a reason these in-depth topics aren't really talked about, especially on the big panel shows, because everyone would just be tearing chunks out of each other. It's that difficult to go through, even in this one-to-one setting.
That's fair.
Plus sleep deprivation. That's an issue too.
Fuck out of here. Burning down entire cities because one police officer that immediately got put in jail and put on trial, this guy somehow is like the reason why you're going to burn down an auto zone. Get the fuck out of here. It's outrageous. And everybody can see this. By the way, every single person can see this. And this is the reason why it made so much money. It's because people are tired of walking around eggshells trying to tiptoe around lies. Kirsche is completely fucking right. 100%. And even if you don't agree with her and you think that that's not the way it should be, you should also acknowledge that it is the way it is. I don't care about what your opinion on how life should be. At least acknowledge what's in plain sight. I think that every company should try to make a decision based off of that, right? You do that a lot. You understand where people are coming from and why they did it, but people think you're defending them, which you're not. Yeah, understanding is not the same thing as defending. And so that's basically it. That's her. That's her. She really looks like she can be in Trump's cabinet. No, it's not even her. That's the woman. Yes. I don't know. That's obviously not okay, but yeah, so you can't even have, and this is the problem with these people, is that you can't even have a conversation about this kind of stuff at all with them because
people don't know a goddamn thing about the situation. They see a picture and they're like, oh, that's why this is wrong. It's like, they're not even the same person. All right. Like, what the heck?
You can't. I don't have a conversation with these people, folks. You don't talk to an enemy soldier when they're trying to shoot you. The same is true of a culture war. You can't communicate with the opposition. They don't want to talk to you. They want to destroy you.
And if they do want to talk to you, it's only to find out how they can destroy you. It's not to get any kind of compromise. These people do not compromise.
And I know this is a hard thing to say and to admit and accept. However, and that parenthesis is very important, you have to have not just you, Smash, or me, but you, plural, as in the people watching, have to have the same mindset against these people. Otherwise, they will infest your culture all over again, our culture all over again, and all the hard work, all the sacrifices people have made will be in vain.
And as we've noticed, anytime you do gain ground, it turns into a Trojan horse style battle where they try to cross the lines to manipulate and get that ground back. I've noticed.
You do, they instantly try to take what you say and turn it into something else. So yeah, so low IQ takes. Yeah, they're just fucking retards. And they're trying to attack people's, like sponsors.
Kurgan says, like some sort of mind virus.
It's a disease, man, and it has to be treated like one. And like any disease, it can be cured.
That's great.
And everything like this. I think that the best thing that a content creator can do is to move completely away from needing these like continuous sponsorships because of just how risky they are. And the guy tried to imply that she's a Nazi because one of the retweets has a swastika in the book. Yeah, it's intentionally misinterpreted. It is. Yikes. And I just see this happen, and I find it to be disappointing and very annoying, honestly, because I just I think it's ridiculous. And I feel bad for people that get attacked like this and demonized whenever they're saying something that most people agree with. And I think if sponsors drop people like Kirsche because of this, they're going to realize that there are infinitely more people out there that support her than support some random fucking weird freak on Twitter that's trying to get her canceled.
Which this is one of the sponsors. Let me bring it up here because I had this set up to talk about tonight. I was all organized, but kind of went to hell. So we talked about this last night. Someone in the chat brought it up, and I'd never heard of this game. Had you heard of it?
I've seen it here and there. I've seen it here and there.
And I watched it, and I was like, oh, it doesn't look terrible. It looks fine. And they're like, yeah, but look at the reviews. And I was like, okay, look at this. Look at the recent reviews. I'm like, damn. And it all talks about how they dropped Kirsche as the sponsor. And Kirsche was like promoting the game, talking good about it. And after the situation happened, they dropped her. And people not having it. And I got to be honest, love to see this community reaction for a situation when you see a great injustice.
Oh, yeah.
Love to see it.
Well, if you drop her, then they'll drop you. That's why you never make the first move in a controversy. Don't.
Yep.
By and large, you'll probably lose.
Yep.
And that's the truth. So have they released the video footage of Carmelo yet? No, they haven't. They probably won't do that until the trial, and then the trial won't be public. We'll probably never see it, to be honest.
Probably.
So yeah. Elon Twitter also moved away from advertiser sponsors because it's unsustainable. Well, the thing is that the problem, here's the issue that I have with advertisers. The issue that I have with advertisers is that advertisers effectively try to compel speech by withholding funds and not giving people money for
which they have the right to do that. But then people have the right to fight back when they do that. Like, this is all a natural thing. I hope he says something along those lines at least.
Advertising, which, to be fair, is their right to do.
Okay.
But the result of that is that everybody has to effectively abide by these speech policies of these massive international companies that oftentimes utilize slave labor and other forms of completely unethical, like labor.
Or
based.
Very. Or you get the companies that put the gay flag in their as their profile bio in the Pride Month, but then when they have an office in where are these places, Palestine or wherever, where they're super anti? Where are the places that are super anti-gay? I don't even know.
Oh, the Middle East, Sub-Saharan Africa. It wouldn't be in Palestine because it would probably be blown up by the IDF. But please carry on.
Good point. My point being is these places that are very anti-gay, they don't do it there, and it's like literally proof of just pandering. That's all it is. They do not stand by any of it. They're just trying to get virtue points from people
in order to make products. So it's like, when in what universe is somebody saying a word worse than, let's say, somebody going and like, I don't know, selling a product that was created through cobalt mines, right? And so, Mr. Pokey, thank you very much for the gifted subs. The raid, thank you very much, man. I hope you guys are doing well. Hi guys, hello, hi. Mr. Pokey was on our podcast back in the day. I remember that. And I don't
think I've ever heard Asmongold acknowledge a raid. That's wild.
I'll tell you this: old friends, old secrets. That's probably why I acknowledged it back in the day, huh?
Yep.
That makes for an interesting story.
That's the only reason he acknowledged him. Like, oh, I know you from a while ago.
It's caring capitalism. If something is an advertiser safe, it's considered extremism. Yes. I really like that. Yes. If something isn't considered advertiser safe, it's considered extremism. I think that advertisers need to realize, and this is what I think that we need to do collectively as a community, like not just me, but like in general, is that we need to come together and just absolutely, totally, like, if somebody gets taken off of a sponsor because of like something bad that they said,
just end the company. Just be like, complete boycott.
But yes, put the fear of God in them, because that's exactly what people like this want to do to you. That is exactly what it is. And if you don't do that, they will beat you. Unless you play their same game, they will beat you. Wouldn't that be the only way to do it for other creators to also drop having that sponsor? No, because if you just have a huge amount of negative criticism, it scares brands. That's all you have to do.
That was a banger video. God, that was great.